share the feed to you. Check. So, hi everybody, this is a surprise in business English class for you. So, you're lucky if you are with us right now. And let us know if you can hear us or and see us clearly, not or, but yes, and. Right, so let us know. So, here we are. You see me and Dino. Dino
Yes.
T from his home sweet home, Dublin, Ireland. Right. Let us know if you can hear us and see us clearly. All right.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, so there are a couple of students here with us. So there are over 40 of you with us. Good
Excellent.
evening and almost good night, everybody. It's what time is it? Do you know? It's your afternoon, right? Over there in
Correct. It's
Dublin.
my 3 p.m. here
Oh,
in Dublin City.
cool. Right, so welcome everybody to join this surprise demo class. This is a business English class, and we are going to focus on a very, very crucial topic, and that is also of interest of many of you, I believe. That is how to make small talk and also do networking. So, many people in Taiwan, I know, many students of mine, many students of Dino, feel about this deeply. That is, they actually have a good vocab size and they actually can score pretty well on TOEIC tests, maybe, but they really don't know how to make a successful small talk, right? So, yeah. And today, Dino is here to enlighten us, right? So, to show us a few tips. Yeah, so how to make good small talk. Actually, Dino and I became good friends. We can say through a work opportunity, but also our small talk, right? So that's very crucial. That is how you really get to know each other, to break the ice, and also to just exchange some information. And from that interactions, you kind of have a feeling about who this person is or how you're feeling about this personality, right? So I think for me, small talk is definitely one of the most important topics for business English because it's not just about making presentations, holding successful meetings, and holding successful or smooth telephone conversations and all that. It's actually about people and about relationships, right? And when it comes to that, Dino is the expert here, right? So, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming our one and only the dynamic Dino. Right.
Nice, nice. Thank you, mate. Thank you so much for the introduction. And
Can't
yes, hi
wait.
everyone.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, hi and welcome. I see you guys joining in. We've got around 50, almost 60 of you joined into our live stream. So thank you so much for joining in this evening on your Sunday evening before the week kicks off again. And as Howard said, yes, we will be going through a surprise teaching of a networking topic and small talk. So it's a sample of what you can hope to expect in my classes at Taiwan How. So today we're going to focus on a little outline and just a basically like a direct sample of what we would go through in class, just to give you guys a better idea, a better understanding of me, my teaching style, and you can also have a chance to interact, obviously, with our live video. So that's the main structure for this live stream. So I'm so happy that you guys got a chance to join. And just to kind of get started, one of the things Howard said is that we did meet through a business and work opportunity. I think it was probably around 6 years ago, was it, mate? Six?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it was around 6 years ago, and yeah, it was just like a very seamless meeting and interaction. And one of the things I noticed about Howard was that his ease of small talk and networking skills were very natural to him, and he very seamlessly integrated into the conversation. So his social interaction was extremely, extremely effective. And so ever since then, we kept in touch and we've worked together in many different things. And so when it comes to networking, his skills were exceptional. But if we look at, say, networking itself, a lot of people try and think as networking as like a tool for them to promote themselves all the time, constantly, handing out business cards and trying to kind of showcase their job title and what exactly they do. However, networking is not only just about that. It is a small piece of it, but what I like to think of networking is a way to connect people together and also to provide value. So, for
Mm.
example, again, I believe Howard is a master of this, because if I'm looking for somebody, in certain industry, I could probably have a good guess that Howard knows somebody in that industry. And so what he does is he connects a person to myself, and there we go. So that's a perfect example of networking. So what it is it's basically a way for people to get to know each other that you feel should know each other, and that's in a way providing value to them. We don't always have to show off or showcase ourselves too much. It could just be a simple way of connecting people together, and in the future then that person would respect and appreciate that, and in turn would respond or reciprocate that favor. So in terms of the definition of networking, I think that's a nice way to put it and to address it, you know.
I
Um,
totally agree. I was actually just good at pretending I was very good at networking or making small talk. No, just kidding. I mean, I think the key is to be genuine. Yeah,
yeah,
to be authentic and to, treat people wholeheartedly, showing your true feelings. And, when you meet someone who you like to befriend, who you like to make friends with, you definitely have to show your friendly side to let them know, right? If you really do not enjoy being with someone so much, you don't have to say negative things. You can just, stay there, stay a professional distance, and I think that's how I go around the business world.
yeah, it's incredible. It really is incredible. And now for you, mate, I mean, you've created so many new opportunities, the morning radio show and the news show, and it's absolutely a credit to you, and things have really gone in the right direction. So I'm also so proud to see you do well, and your networking skills. Absolutely, it's it's amazing. But I guess in this class, guys, we're also inviting you to get interactive, get online. If you do have any questions, if you do have any challenges that you face whilst networking or creating small talk, please do let me know. We will also cover some of the topics to discuss, and also some topics maybe to avoid, or basically just ways to get you involved in the conversation, to be that little bit more interactive. I think Kathy has also joined us, and she's maybe posted a question or some feedback there.
She says she's interested in our speaking courses, so
Mm.
she's lucky she's here. And I am just really looking forward to the class today, and I'm also excited and also a little nervous because I don't actually know what Dino is going to teach us today. So I am excited and also, kind of not knowing what to expect. Right? Because I am, on the stage with Dino right here. Right. So while you are in the chat, so please grab this golden opportunity to leave any comments or questions you might have, and feel free to join us anytime and leave any comments and interact with us.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. As Howard said, guys, grab this opportunity. It's an opportunity to come on, ask us questions, get involved. If you're interested in my business intermediate course, but you're not sure about it, what are some of the concerns that you have about the course? What is some information that you would like to know from me that I can more than happily share with you during this short surprise teaching class live stream. So yeah, absolutely. But yeah, again, guys, if you have any questions, please feel free to pop them into our live chat. I guess we can get started. So
Yeah.
having a look at our networking, and as I said, networking is all about providing value, and in the meantime, connecting people together that you feel should know each other. I had a great question from one of my students the other day, and they said, yeah, for those of us who may be shy, for those of us who may feel a little bit awkward or reserved,
Or
or even
maybe
for
introverted.
exactly for introverts, I think it's is it 内心? Is it?
内向.
内向, yeah.
Yeah.
So, like for those students who are introverted, how can networking help them, and how can they get past those barriers and obstacles when in a social interaction? And so, this little class is perfect for answering that question. So,
Mm.
let's have a look then at some of our introductions. So, normally in a class, this is what I would go through in our first class. I would introduce myself, and then I would also get you, the students, to introduce yourselves. And what I do is I post some of these questions that we have here on our slide just to give you some brainstorming ideas about what to say when you're introducing yourself. A lot of us, when we do network, we tend to focus a little bit too much on our job titles and
Yeah.
responsibilities, right? And
Yeah.
it's so common in this day and age. It's not just for English language learners. It's just basically everyone. A lot of us
Yeah.
just do this,
Yeah.
right? Have you, Howard? Have you come across this with
Yeah.
people that you meet?
Yeah. At some occasions, I just met some people. They would just um, introduce themselves to me about their job titles and also what they do. But actually, I'm more interested about what they do maybe in their free time or what they're like, what do they enjoy more instead of telling me what a maybe developer does for the
Yes.
software development job.
Right, right, exactly. And I think it's just kind of like a common default that we always go back to. We focus on, who we are and what we do and our job responsibilities for networking situations. And I think also we have, I think it's Shi Yanxiang is
Mm.
also he or she says that they are an
Mm.
introvert as well, and they're grateful for this learning
Mm.
opportunity. So I hope this helps you. And we have Karina as well that's just joined
Yeah.
in. So it's yeah, absolutely. So I think what I would suggest is, in terms of networking, don't always focus on job titles and responsibilities, because they will always be there no matter what. So I think what we can start to focus on and include during that, networking conversations would be some of your passions, maybe some of the strengths that you feel you have, and
Mm.
perhaps some of the things that you do in your free time,
Yeah.
right? Because we are not our jobs, we are not our work. So it's nice to mix things up a little bit and actually focus more on some of our passions and the things that we like to do in our free time. So
Mm.
for you, Howard, mate, what are some of the things you like to do in your free time?
Oh, I'm a movie buff. I just enjoy movies so much. I basically will go see all the movies. So I just, I'm burning here because I haven't seen Top Gun Maverick. It's a new movie and I want to see it so bad, but I've been so busy this weekend. Right, so probably I'll go see it tomorrow. Right. So you see, if
Nice.
I'm talking to a Top Gun fan, right, then here we just click and we will start the
Yes.
conversation. And one thing I would like to add to the job titles and responsibility is that it's always there, it's always on your business card, right? So when you hand it to people, you can just add probably one or two sentences just to make an impression so people know you are not just an interpreter, you're not just a teacher, you're not just a businessman, because like I just enjoyed the sentence you just said. So great, well said. We are not our job, right? We are not our job titles.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, that's a great little tip when we are exchanging business cards. Maybe just say one or two sentences about yourself and maybe some of your passions or things that you like to do in your free time. And then, in addition, when exchanging business cards, we may notice that for certain countries, they may not present the business card in two hands like we do in Taiwan or Japan or China. So
Mm.
if it's someone from Europe or the US, they may just exchange it with one hand. So there's not that same level of importance and cultural tradition that we normally are used to in Taiwan. So that's something that we should be aware of and also to get used to. So yeah,
Mm.
just a little bit of a cross-cultural information tip there.
Yeah.
So, in addition, then moving on to after the introductions. So, again, this would be an exact sample of what you may see in one of my classes. We get to know each other, especially in our first class. and we iron out any issues or any questions that students may have, and focusing on getting to know each other that little bit more. And it's a great way to almost role play or get a chance to, sample someone's self-introduction. We all hate it, but it's something that we can learn to improve. And I also suggest for those of you who are nervous or shy, get to know some friends who speak English. Also put yourself out there, maybe join a Toastmasters club. I really do highly recommend it. Howard will tell you the exact same thing, guys. It's really great practice for confidence as well. And this is what it's all about. We may feel introverted and we may feel shy, but there are those moments where we can gently push ourselves to out of our box and out of our comfort zone.
Yeah, and also joining this class is one of the best ways too, because you get to know people in a friendly group, and you can just practice with each other and speak English and write English with each other. It's a great practice opportunities as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Because in my classes, guys, we go through some breakout rooms as well. So you do get topics to discuss on, and you're given time to go away and practice these topics and discuss what you feel and what you believe about these topics. And you come back and you can report your decisions, and if you agreed or disagreed in your breakout rooms, and you can come back and we can discuss it as a bigger group together. So again, these courses and classes that I provide with Taiwan How are really effective in improving confidence and also critical thinking, right? Because not everyone is going to agree on such topics and such things. So that's where this class comes into play, and it really is a very effective resource and tool for your networking skills, whether you agree or disagree with people. So with that being said, these are some common responses that we would get to how was your weekend? All right. Wow. So it's
it was one of the most difficult ones when I was a beginner.
Right. Yeah. And how did you answer it, mate?
It was always a shocker. I mean, for me as a beginner, because I didn't really know how to present my weekend to people, right? Because we just enjoy ourselves. I mean, weekend is the time for you to sleep in, the time for you to spend a lot of time with your family, and maybe just do nothing or chill at home watching Netflix, right? So, I mean, I was really not ready to tell people what I did. So I actually needed some time to think about what I did over the weekend, right? So that was my issue in the beginning. But later, I actually know I could just present some highlights, just pick one or two key activities that I did over the weekend, and then we can talk about these kinds of activities, right? So we will find a common ground, or find something in common to talk about.
Absolutely. Kathy asked a good question. Is Dino the instructor of this class? Yes, I am, Kathy. Yes. I will be the instructor of this intermediate business class. And Sammy actually makes a good point, is that a lot of my students will say this.
Answer. I can just say it for you. Sammy said, well, my weekend was okay, nothing special. Students would just say, oh, so or nothing special.
Right. Absolutely. It's an easy question to ask, but a very difficult question to answer. And as you said, mate, Howard has said, guys, that it took him by surprise, and it may take some of you also by surprise. But one of the things we need to focus on is just pick one or two key highlights of something that you did over the weekend, and that's a great way to open up a conversation in a networking environment. And so I think for that, it's so important not to get too caught up on what exactly you did exactly. Right. So
we don't really need to give a very clear account of what we did, like from Friday night to all the way to Sunday evening. No.
Yeah, exactly. So again, a lot of my students may say, nothing special. Of course, nothing special. We rarely would say that in English, especially in a social or networking environment. It's more, it's almost like it kills the conversation in a little way, right? So I would kind of always suggest to my students, try to avoid saying this term nothing special, as it's difficult for the other person to respond, and it's almost like a
Right.
conversation killer, right? Like, how do you come back from that, right?
Like nothing special. Oh, okay. I'm sorry I asked the question. Right.
It's like, okay, good talk, bye bye.
Right. Yeah. So it was like a period, like a big period there for people to stop talking, right? So it was not very a good answer, guys. So,
Yeah.
right. So, but it's okay if you really feel that you didn't do much, right? Over the weekend.
Yeah.
Do you know?
Yeah, exactly. It's okay. Like if you didn't do much or if you absolutely did nothing, then that's fine. You can say things like this, like not much, it was pretty chill. It was pretty chill. I took it easy. I didn't do too much, or it was relaxing. I plus whatever you wanted
Yeah.
to do,
So, and
whatever you
then I
did.
could follow up by asking, oh, so did you go out or did you just stay home over the weekend or something like that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. You can kind of you can add on a follow-up question. How about you? Right? It was a well-deserved break. How about you?
I love
Oh,
this one.
I blah blah blah.
Yeah.
If you've got a family to take care of, oh, had a crazy weekend with the kids and traveling to, Hualien or Elan, right? Oh,
Sounds good too. Yeah, sounds nice
yeah,
to have a crazy weekend. I mean, because depending on your tone, right, crazy can be good or bad. So I like
yes.
this. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've also given some options as well. We also look at some terms as well. Netflix and chilled. This is obviously quite a common one that's come into play. Something you will not find in a textbook, but we do cover it as
Right.
well in
But
our
do people
classes.
really know the meaning of this, or do people misuse it?
I think for a lot of my students, they don't know. They've never come across, so unless those students have watched a lot of TV shows or dramas where they, can kind of maybe some comedy dramas where they can pick up what exactly it means. So to let you guys know what exactly it means is to Netflix and chill means to watch Netflix and have some maybe sexual interactions with somebody that you like or somebody that you're on a date with. So if somebody asks you if you want to come over to my place, maybe we can watch Netflix and chill. You have to know what it means. It's not only just Netflix and chilling, it could be something more than
Right.
just friendship.
Be careful, guys.
It's like words of warning.
Right. I mean, it's nice. Like we learn, we don't just learn the language. We need to know what people are implying when they use the phrase, right?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And that's not something that you would find in a textbook. So again, with this course, it is quite business oriented, but it's not only solely, business textbook. It is very practical and very useful for you guys. All right. So those are just some responses that you could give to the weekend question. When it comes to networking and small talk, hot topics, what are the things that we should say? What are the things that we should talk about? So, you know, we sometimes find, especially for family members, they may ask us some personal questions about if we're married or if, how
When
much
are
our
you getting
salary is.
married?
Yes.
How much do you make?
Yes, yes, absolutely. So there are these awkward or embarrassing situations, maybe with family, co-workers, or friends. And so what we could say is something like, I'd prefer not to say at this time, or I feel that this question is a little too personal for me to answer. All right. If you're quite angry or if you're kind of fed up with these questions, something that might be a little bit more direct and sometimes rude would be that's none of your business. But a polite way to decline this question would be, I'd rather not say. Okay, so these are some things that we need to be aware of. And the classic no comment is a way to avoid this question completely. But if it's did you do something question, or if it's a yes or no question, no comment usually means that that person did what the question
Yeah.
was. So yeah, it comes from politics as well. So those are just some small little ways to decline some embarrassing or maybe even some too personal situations or questions. Moving
Exactly.
on to into the type of questions that we get, guys. We have both formal and informal questions that we can ask during a social setting or interaction. Some things like, what's your biggest challenge? What's your biggest challenge? Or, what has your biggest challenge been in the last year? Oh, well, it's
Mm.
been COVID because my whole business has changed, or it's been my family. I've welcomed a new child into our family, or, my parents have been sick, so I've been taking care of them. It can be anything really. It doesn't
Mm.
always have to be about job or business related. All right. So
Mm.
that's something that we need to remember, guys. It's, as we said at the start, we are not our jobs. We are not our job titles. All
Mm.
right. So, um, again, when it comes to networking, and if we do have pauses or awkward silences, my students sometimes struggle with these pauses and awkward silences, and then their mind goes blank, right? We don't know
Right.
what to say, right?
Right.
Have you ever come across that one, mate? I mean, have you ever had a mind blank?
Oh yeah, of course. When, especially when you feel that, when you sense that the person you're talking to is kind of quiet, and you're not sure if it's because of you that they don't want to
Yes.
talk to you, or is it because of any topics or anything that you just mentioned, right? So you're kind of nervous, and you're like searching quickly in your mind, like, did I say something wrong, right? So that's a lot of things going on at the same time. It's not just purely blank, it's actually too occupied, right? So too busy
Yeah.
to come up with a good topic for the next maybe exchange. So I would say always nice to have some pocket questions, maybe. Like you can just use these, like provided by Dino. I think these are great because
Yeah.
these are kind of universal, so you can use them almost all the time. And especially, for example, when you ask people very curiously and genuinely about their biggest challenge, maybe in the past quarter or in the past year, you can say, was it tough for you for the past quarter
Mhm.
because of COVID? And they might give you a surprise answer. So then you can just follow up on asking more questions. I think it's all about being genuine and being really curious about the things you want to know. So people can sense that and will give you sometimes some nice surprises.
Absolutely, I agree. It's all about being genuine, guys, and just also listening as well. These
Mm,
questions are great. It's really important to actively listen to the person that we are talking to, and trying to add with that follow-up question. It's key, and it just shows
yeah.
them that you're listening, right?
Yeah.
And
Speaking of listening, I think it's quite important that we have to actually really listen to people and remember what they say instead of being too busy thinking about what to say next, because you might just bump into each other in the next social occasion, and if you forget all about what they just said last time, it would be awkward. They'll be like, I think I mentioned this, right?
yeah,
So it's quite awkward. You have to remember and really keep people's answers in mind. And when you do listen to them, you will come up with good answers and questions as well.
right. And just to follow up on what Howard said, guys, actively listening, you would be surprised how much value you can provide to somebody by actively listening. So if they're describing a challenge or a problem that they're facing in their life or in their job, but let's say you know somebody in that industry or in that area who may be able to help them.
Yeah,
Why don't you provide that contact to them and say, oh, I know this guy, I know this woman who works in this area. I feel like she would provide some solutions to your problems. And that
exactly.
way, they're not asking you to solve their problem, but if you are taking the first step, the first initial step to provide that value to them, they will never forget it, and they shouldn't if they're anyway nice. So I think it's really key to try to connect people together and provide that value, which is, again, like we said at the start, is what networking is
Yeah,
all about.
yeah, exactly. I love this part so much. I can add maybe one more question to this list. That is,
Sure.
tell me something I don't know about your industry. I like to
Mm.
challenge people I'm talking to sometimes to get some more interesting answers and maybe intelligence, because especially after a cup or two, sometimes it's nice that you can get some information that's quite important, but you don't get them from official channels, right?
Yeah, yeah. Try and get the inside scoop. The inside scoop, guys, is more information, like the real information that we don't always hear, the inside scoop.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then finally, then just to kind of come to a wrap up, or come to a close with these final few questions, guys, would be, some of these here are a little bit more informal. So some things like activities, and then it goes back to what we would do in our free time. Who do you admire most in your industry as well? right? So that's a really great opening question or an open
Mm,
question to say, oh, I admire this person. And for me personally, I admire Simon Sinek, who's a great
oh,
leadership spokesperson.
yeah,
He's given some great TED talks, and I use a lot of his materials in my classes, and he's kind of like a role model to me as well because he's almost he said he admits to being sometimes introverted as well,
mm,
but yet he goes and he pushes himself to makes this
yeah,
groundbreaking success and share his stories. So again, number 8 here, question 8, guys, it's so open. You never know which conversation or what the conversation will need lead to next, you know.
yeah. And also, it's a nice opportunity to know about some people, maybe from some other professional fields that we're not so familiar with. And for me, it can serve as a reference guide or a reference pointer for me to look further or look more into a different industry by starting from a person like people I know, admire.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. You could kind of spark that interest to kind of do a little bit more research or learn more about a particular industry. So, and then I guess like for question 9, let's say for example, how do you deal with this is when we're discussing maybe issues or challenges in a person's, say like for example, their job in their industry. All right. So I've given these 10 questions a mix of both formal and informal. And these are just some of the questions that we can ask. You can basically take any of the information that we go through in my business intermediate class, and you can take them and put them into practice in your everyday life. So again, very practical and very useful materials, guys.
Wow, I enjoyed this so much. So, guys, did you enjoy this surprise demo English, business English class? If you do let us know because we can only see you in the chats. So please do leave a comment to let us know what you think about what we just experienced. And thank you, Dino, so much for this generous surprise class for everyone online. Right, I hope you have a good time. So Sammy said yes.
Thank
Yang
you,
Xing
Sammy.
said indeed. Right. Thank you so much for the comments. They're great positivity. Karina also said, yes, I hope it's really helpful for you guys because in this business world, we really need to be connected, I think. I do believe in connection more than perfection when it comes to English learning because English is a very useful tool to connect people and for me as an interpreter and also Dino and I as teachers as well to connect worlds. I think that would be the most valuable thing that we can do with English, the language. So when people and the worlds are united, that's world peace. And
Yeah.
thank you so much for the comments. They're great. Great
Yeah.
questions, great question ideas. Thanks a lot for your sharing. Morris Zhang is
Mhm.
Wanhua's industry person. You mean your role model in the industry? That's like the
Yes.
father of Taiwanese semiconductors industry.
Yes. Is that Taijidian, is it?
Yes,
TSMC?
TSMC,
Yes.
exactly. Jamie said, when will you have an advanced class? That's a straightforward question directed to Dino. What do you
Yes.
say?
Yeah, I say absolutely. I mean, if we have the interest, absolutely, I can open up a more advanced class for sure. It just depends on if you guys are interested. Yeah, just let me know.
All right. Awesome, awesome. Right. So keep the great comments coming, people. Right. So we're so happy to have you here with us, everybody, and also especially, of course, our one and only Dino T. Yeah. Ruo Shun said, I got more ideas about for my next conversations. Thank you so much.
Ah,
Yeah.
excellent. Yeah,
So
no, I'm glad. I'm glad that you guys can find it valuable as well. And again, this is just a small piece of what we would go through in the business class. So again, it's something that's very practical, very useful. And I feel like the students that, joined the first term that just finished up last week, I feel like they really enjoyed it and they really got some value from it. So that's basically my main aim and goal is to provide value to you guys so that you can go out and use this in your everyday life, both for work and just life in general.
terrific, terrific. That's our goal as English teachers, right? We're
Yeah.
helping students thrive and we're happy seeing them become the better version of themselves. Yeah. So what more could you ask for, right? So yeah, I think that's pretty much it for today. And I would like to conclude our surprise listen by thanking, of course, you, mate, and also
Thank you,
everybody
mate.
who's online. Hope everybody have a wonderful night here in Asia and also have a wonderful rest of your day there in
Thank you,
Dublin.
mate.
Right.
Absolutely. Before we finish up, for those of you who are asking and wondering, I think it's June 26th, I think is the date that we will start the next term. I think Sammy can confirm on that.
Yes.
And yeah, so it's exciting. I hope to see you guys all in the class. And if you have any questions, just reach out to myself or Sammy or Howard, and we'll be more than happy to answer and get you involved in the class.
Yeah, seats are limited, so seize your
Yeah.
opportunity to join the class. All right, so once again, thank you so much, and thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful night, have a wonderful afternoon. Thank you so
Yes.
much.
Thank you,
I'll see
mate.
you guys next time. All right,
Thank you, guys. Thank
bye.
you. 谢谢. Bye bye, guys.